You're building your lockdown loadouts wrong in Arena Breakout Infinite, and I'm here to fix that. Here's my basic info tab. I played over 400 hours and I have a pretty high combat rating and over 2,000 raids, so I know you can leave this video learning something. When choosing the game mode, we have normal, lockdown, forbidden, basically easy, normal, and hard mode. And majority of your games will be in the lockdown mode. Every map is available on the lockdown mode, but the catch is there is a 1 million gear cap. So with that being said, make sure you like the video and let's fix those loadouts. Now, quick disclaimer. I'm a heavy PvP player, so the things I will be discussing in this video will be geared more towards PvP because I feel like that's the hardest thing in the game to master. And once you master PvP, looting, everything else becomes a whole lot easier. Believe me, once you tackle that, everything else is smooth sailing. So the first thing you need to understand when fixing your loadouts is using the correct ammo. So as you guys know, there's 6 different tiers. Most rounds go to 1 through 5, and there are a couple that go to 6. Tiers 1 through 5 are purchasable through the market, and all of the tier 6 ammo is either found in raid or through the workbench upgrade, but that's a whole different topic. Now, bare minimum for the lockdown mode, you need to be shooting T4 ammo, specifically for anything that is full auto, like ARs or SMGs. But for DMRs or sniper rifles, minimum is T5 ammo. Why is that, you ask? Because most players are using T4 and T5 armor, even T6 with the low durability. I would get more into armor later, but anything under T4, you will risk not being able to kill your opponent because the lower the tier, the more shots it would take to kill. And it gets a little crazy. You're looking at over 8 shots in the body to kill someone using T3 ammo and a T5 vest. One thing that is a must on every map, regardless of what gun you're using, get in the habit of top loading. What top loading is essentially you put the expensive ammo on the top of your magazine and the cheaper ammo at the bottom. So as you can see right here, I have 995, which is a T5 ammo, and A1, which is T4. So you put your T4 ammo at the bottom, T5 at the top, put it in your gun. Now, if you're on a budget, you can do the first 10 bullets. I normally recommend 30 and 30 or 25 and 25, depending on the drum mag you use. If you like using the 30 rounds, fill it completely with the best ammo because you want to make sure you get that kill. Now, if you're on a super tight budget, you can top load with T3. I wouldn't recommend it, but I can't say I haven't done it before. But just know your chances of winning a gunfight can go down significantly because T3 ammo is such a liability. So if you don't take anything else from the video, make sure you're investing your money in good ammo. Now, moving on to what armor to run. Before we get into that, while in the market, do you ever scroll and look at the different armors and you see the armor class and then you look at the material? This is composite. These one is hardened steel. Well, those mean something. Now, this chart shows every helmet, body armor, and armored rig in the game above T4. Let me hide my face. Take a screenshot, save it. This is very important. Just for example, if you're a big PvP player, you may want to consider putting your money into hardened steel because in the protection column, it's best in class, but it of course has drawbacks. The weight is really heavy and the repairability can get costly. Another example, if you're a loot player, you're going on runs just to grab items, you may well consider putting on aluminum. It has great weight and decent repairability, but the durability and protection is bad, so you may want to stay away from PvP. Now take this with a grain of salt because this is very subjective and there are many factors and variables that can change the outcome of you either dying or surviving a gunfight. All right, so let's talk about armor. First thing you should always be doing, going to Deke. He has a lot of amazing deals. If you didn't know, there's a shop that appears where you can flip certain things. Like for example, this armor is 130. Let's see if I'll get profit from buying it from him. No, I will not. So maybe I stay away from that one. Let's check this armor. Level 4, 53,000. Boom. So that's a flip. I'll get about 60,000 back. So I would buy that. I'm not going to do it right now, but you understand the idea. Now, if you go over to his armor tab, as you guys can see, he has a good bit of level 4s, including a good level 5. This is a really good base armor that is very popular. It is a go-to if you're on a budget. It was 229 there. It's 300 in the market, so you're saving about like 70,000. Now, if we go over one more tab, same with the armored rigs. There's a lot here, but probably the best one in the entire game, and you can get it here, is the Defender M4. So right now, going for 326. Let's check the market, 394, and that's assuming you don't have any of the items that it's requesting, like the household item and the laptop computer. And the reason why I would say this is the best bang for your buck. And of course, I forgot, and it's hardened steel, so you'll be able to tank some more bullets, and the durability is a lot higher than all the other ones. Let me show you right here. Let's open it up. It's a built-in rig with two 2x2 slots. That's actually unbeatable. So whenever you need an armored rig, armor, or even a bag, make sure you're coming to Deke. You will get things a lot cheaper, especially these last 4 bags on the last tab on Deke. Oh my goodness, I can't tell you how many times I bought these. For example, for the 926, we have it at 108K. We go on the shop, I guarantee it's going to be 140. So you're saving 30 grand. Let's set the next one, the field camping bag, 141. The market, 171. You're saving 30,000. These are big, and I'm a big believer in big bags because you won't be able to bring out a lot of loot if you don't have a big bag. Therefore, you won't be able to maximize your profit. So whenever you can, always try to get that big bag. And if your gear value goes over a mil, all you got to do, so let's, for example, let's put on some stuff that will put me over a mil. All right, I had to readjust this. So boom, I'm slightly over a mil. So what you can do, change your bag. So you can throw this bag in here, right under, put a camping bag on because they're just about 2 grand. Then put your bag in there. You're right under the limit. Just remember, as soon as you get into the raid, to throw that king bag on the ground and put on your big bag. All right, back to armor. So I'm going for straight PvP. I'm going with the titanium BT6 heavy body armor. The movement speed's not too bad. And it's still titanium. And if you remember, we saw on the chart, titanium is in the green for protection. You also have these hardened steel, but I feel like it slows you down way too much. I'm more of an aggressive player. I like having a little bit more speed, but this is your best bet for protection. And for loot runs, passive players, anything would do because you're not getting in PvP. Just go back in the video and look at the chart and find out what best suits you. Now on to helmets. There's many different options. I'm gonna be giving you guys the ones I've been using. Now again, for PvP, T4, you want to make sure you're going with the SH40 hardened steel, moderate sound blocking. Honestly, I think moderate is very playable. Severe is when it gets a little crazy and you really can't like notice what's going on. But moderate is the highest I can go and run comfortably. If not new, you can press this tab up here, top right. You can change the different durabilities. I'd say don't go lower than like new for helmets. For loot runs, or if you want to hear and put headphones on, I recommend this helmet because it does protect your ears. A lot of these do not protect your ears. And you can put a T4 face mask on if you go over here, the DK8. This face mask is good against lower tier ammo. If someone's shooting T3, you'll survive. If someone's shooting T4, all it takes is 1 or 2 shots and you're put down. So whenever I'm wearing helmets that have the visor, the glass visor, I'm very careful on how I'm peeking because there's nothing worse than getting put down in 1 or 2 shots because this visor doesn't really provide much protection. But on the plus side, you know, you can put on headphones and you'll be able to hear. Honestly, the best headphones I enjoy are the Commanders because I can really easily tell where the enemy's at. GS2s, you have to use them all the time to get used to them. They make everything super loud. You may think of enemies right next to you, but he could be like 30 meters away. I don't know, it's personal preference. Now into the T5 helmets, almost forgot. One big thing you should look at as well is the ricochet chance. Oh my goodness, this has saved me so many times. I don't know if you guys have ever seen, but when people are doing budget runs, they run this T2 helmet because it's hardened steel and it's high ricochet chance. So it doesn't matter what, someone could shoot the most expensive bullet, an M61, and there's a chance for it to bounce off of your helmet because of the high ricochet chance. So, you know, it is luck, but whenever you're gonna helmets, you should keep that in mind. So the best T5 helmet is no doubt the AN95, which is built in with headphones and it's a T5. The only downside is the mask is T4, I believe. Yeah, the mask is T4 and it's glass. So there's a chance for you to get one shot, but the pro is you can hear around you. Now I wonder if they will ever change this, but the only T5 mask that has a protective face guard that's also T5 is no other than the Matska. Now this thing is a tank. It eats so much bullets, high ricochet chance, hardened steel, but the catch is severe blocking. I'm not gonna lie, it's extremely hard to hear, especially if you're solo. Just join a shooting range. I want to show you a tip, but I'm not gonna lie, I hate getting one-shotted because most people are running T4 ammo, so it makes it really hard to peek. So if you're going to use this helmet, get in the habit of taking it off and listening to your surrounding. So say, you know, I'm running, I hear a guy over there, I want to stop what I'm doing, press F and just listen. You can stop, you can turn your head using your camera. You don't have to move your body. You just have to remember to put your helmet back on. And you also got to remember to keep a 2x2 slot in your bag because you could be approaching enemies and you want to get some more sounds, so you can quickly take it off, listen, and put it back. Very simple. Now, for some strange reason, if you don't have any room in your bag, you can always tab to open your book bag and press X and it'll drop it on the ground and you can listen. But just keep in mind, it does make a sound cue. It's not too loud, but if someone's really close, they will hear it. But honestly, most people might not know that you actually dropped your helmet. They'll just think it was a sound of you walking. But very simple, you just press F and it'll put it right back on. Now, I hope you guys are still with me. We still got to go through guns you should be using in your lockdown games. Now, for starters, you should already know what I'm about to say. You should. If you play the game, you should already know the AK-12. Yo, it doesn't even matter what you put on this gun. It's still relatively accurate and steady. This is the build I would recommend. The AK-12 is probably the best weapon in the game for spraying with a scope. It's incredibly accurate. It's the go-to gun if you don't know what to run. Just make sure you top load those magazines and you will be dropping people so easily. Now, the next gun we have on the list is the MCX. Yo, this is like the no recoil. It doesn't move at all. It's like a AR that wants to be an SMG, but the downside is it has 30 effective range. That is terrible for an AR. So just be aware of where you're shooting, because once you go past that effective range, the damage drop off hurts and you'll be putting a lot of bullets into your enemy. But other than that, very, very solid weapon. Next gun, or two guns, I'm putting them together, we have on the list, is the T951, the T03, because they shoot the same caliber. So the T9 is basically a more stable, easier to control T03, but with less fire rate and firing power. The T03 is somewhat hard to control, but does a lot better damage. And I forgot to mention to you guys, whenever you're putting on attachments, don't go overkill. This is lockdown. So don't go too low, like a lightweight tactical front grip that's 2000, but don't go for like the tilts. I mean, you can, but there's no need. Go for like the mid tiers. Like we have the RK0, we have the lightweight tilt, we even have the vertical or the triangular, which is still really good. Let me go back. You get +6 vertical, +9 horizontal, and +3 ergo. That's really nice. Now this is a T9 build I would probably run, not too expensive, just under 200K. And this is the T03 build I would run. This gun does have a lot of horizontal recoil, but it does hit. And the great thing about these two weapons is that the ammo for T5 is so cheap. Right now it's at 4,000, which is a little bit higher. I've seen it a little bit lower, but compared to, like, I'd say arguably the best T5 ammo in the game, which is AP, 7,000 per round. So that's almost 3,000 less. Let's look at 995 as well. Again, 7,000. So you're shooting T5 ammo at a much lower price. You cannot beat that deal. Next up, we do have the AUG. Now, there's not much you can change to this weapon. I believe it's only the muzzle, and whether you want to use the default scope, which is a 1.5 zoom, or put on a red dot, whatever you choose. But this gun is a slapper. The recoil is not too weird. You can either put a suppressor on and go for a muzzle that completely removes the recoil or helps a significant amount. The firing power is high, so that's really good. I don't know if I explained what firing power is, but essentially how much damage you do before you penetrate the armor. So that's really important. You won't see people using guns with low firing power unless they're shooting limbs, but that's a whole different topic for another video. But the AUG is the new M4. If you want to use the M4, just use the AUG. I know some people still use this gun, and as you can see, I have a lot of builds over here that I used to use it. It's just not good anymore. I don't know what, in season 2 it was nice, but in season 3 I feel like they changed the recoil pattern or something happened, because it kicks so weird. I can't get used to it. And it requires you to kit it out for it to become a laser. And it doesn't make any sense because you'll be spending more where you can just use the AUG. And on top of that, it's not default high firing power. You have to change the barrel. I believe you put on, let me take that off. You put on the Lars barrel, that changes it to, yeah, that changes it to high. So you have to spend 28K. It just doesn't make any sense in my opinion. All right, for SMGs, you really only have like 3 to 4 options. You have the MP5, very budget, very budget. MPX is a better version of the MP5. We have the P90, which is a laser. Apparently it got a buff. I don't really use this gun. I think I should try more, but it got a buff last season where they added a stock and you can essentially put grips on it now. So this is a big plus for the weapon. I've been seeing a lot of people run this, but it does get really expensive because the ammo is insane. That's why I don't use it. But the rate of fire is 1000 RPM. And with the right ammo, that's shredding anybody in the face. You will not lose a gunfight. Here's a good MPX class if you'd like to try this. One big thing that makes the gun shine, if you put on this MPX collapsible stock, you'll get a 20% ADS movement speed. You see at the bottom left. The straight speed is almost so fast, it's hard for me to hit my target, but you are very hard to hit. So it's a trade-off. So if you're into fast movement SMGs, this is definitely something you need to try. And of course, the MP5 is like a budget loot run gun. I use this whenever I'm broke. I need to get money up. As you can see, I don't have a sight on it, just an iron sight. The recoil is very stable. Not too much to say about it. And then we have the Vector 9. This would really only be good if you're trying to do leg meta because it shoots extremely fast. I think the recoil is a little weird with this weapon as well, but this is probably something I would run. I put a little front iron sight off. I took off the rear iron sight, put a little grip on, and just shoot kneecaps. Use the correct ammo, and you'll be dropping people. This video is getting super long. If you haven't already, please leave a like if you actually learned something. You know what I'm saying? Now into carbons. The only one I'd really use the SVTU. Go ahead and smack a suppressor in whatever sight you like. Put in some T5, T6 ammo, and you're tapping heads. But it did receive a nerf this season. As recording this video, it's season 3. So I think it was a range nerf and a ergo nerf. So it's a little bit slower. But this is a great secondary weapon where you can just tap people whenever you see them, get an easy headshot, take them out. Or even 2 to 3 body shots. They're done. Right, moving on to marksman rifles, you want to make sure you're using the SVD, the MK14, and the M110. Me personally, my favorite is the M110. This is the M110 class that I use. Great gun to tap people. Very easy to use. Not too much to say. Here's the SVD class that I have used before. Not too much to say about this gun as well. It's amazing. And here's an MK14 setup. This gun is pricey, but I tell you, it does drop. Shooting 7.62 fully auto is devastating for the enemy. Moving on to bolt actions, all 3 are viable depending on what you're doing. I'd say the Mosin and the M24 are secondaries, and the SJ is a primary. So how I would use the Mosin is like a mini, super budget. Put some good ammo in this. The reason why I have it short is so when I'm in doorways, I don't get that what do you call it? I mean, like you can't aim because the door is in your way. I don't know what the terminology is, but this is really good for staying in doorways and peeking and tagging someone. Just put some T5 ammo in it. It gets the job done. And then for the M24, I say it's a better Mosin, better ergonomics. Obviously, it's longer and has better range. I honestly prefer this over the Mosin. But this one's not really budget. The Mosin is budget. It's really based on how your pockets are looking. But this is the go-to secondary sniper. If you don't want the 4X, just put on the 2X. This one, highly recommend this one as well. And then the SJ, it doesn't matter really what you put on this. It gets expensive. You can change the stock to have better ergonomics. But this thing is a one tap to the chest if you're using the appropriate ammo. But this is a build I would probably use. Again, another 2x 7x best scope in the game. Put a suppressor on it. We're looking at 500k. You don't have to use that stock. You can use the default, but you know the ergo is really gonna hurt, and your stamina is gonna go down extremely fast. Moving on to shotguns. Now The only ammo you should be using on shotguns is the Type 8 where you're shooting legs. That's it. That's the only thing you should be using. I don't let this go too expensive on my shotguns. It just doesn't make any sense because it's just a one tap. This one's semi-automatic, and then the USAS is full. This one will probably be a little bit better when it comes to being consistent, taking out enemies, shooting their toenails off. You can honestly build that last shotgun and this one how you want. I don't think there's a correct build because all you need to do is just shoot the legs. So if you want to do that while hip firing or ADSing, whatever is comfortable to you. And then lastly, for pistols, I recommend only 3 options. We have the Deagle. You can put T4 ammo in there. Anyone, like we said before, with those glass face masks, you're one-shotting them. We have the M19. This one's a good for like just for scavs. Like whenever you're shooting scavs, I'll use something like this. Put a suppressor on it with the iron sights. This is on my opinion the best scav pistol. And then we have the F57. This is low-key an insane build. I just use the recruit build, to be honest. I may take the laser off. You don't really need that. But you can put T5 ammo in this thing. So essentially, you can, if you catch a T5 off guard, you can tap him in the head twice. Insane. But this gets a little pricey, like 63,000. I think I have some of the parts, but 63,000 for a pistol is insane. So this is definitely not budget, but it's a really reliable pistol. All right, now to gear. All right, now to setting up your gear. I'm sorry, this video is extremely long. I do apologize. We're gonna go through this insanely quick. So what I recommend here, I'm gonna run through liquid painkillers. You want to bring 4. You don't need bandages because meds, there was an update, I think after season 2 or 3. Meds, so let me show you guys. See this right here, cost wound treatment. So the durability is 120. Anytime you have a bleed, it'll take 50 from the med of the durability. Every single one has it. But the lowest I would go for meds is a meal kit if you're on a budget, or the white ones, the 100D battlefield med kits. You want to make sure you bring 2 or 3. Depending on the map, like Northridge, you might want to bring like 3 of these. For TV station, you might want to bring 1. Always have a region. In my opinion, regions are very underrated. Always have at least like 1 tureen and 1 e-drink. If you're on a budget, just bring water and a biscuit. For mags, if you're in PvP, 2 drum mags. You want to make sure you're top loading with either 10, 30, and 30, or if you're on a budget, T3, 30 T4, then 30 T3. For throwables, man, I used to run like 1 or 2 smokes, but I've been running 4. Smokes will save you in so many situations, and they have so many good uses. You can smoke yourself. You can smoke a teammate that's about to go down, or you need to revive him. You can smoke the enemy, so he has to move positions. He has to either push you or move because he can't peek whatever angle he's on. You can smoke to get to another position without being seen. Man, smokes are amazing. But I probably 4 smokes and 2 grenades, maybe 1 gas just to keep a team from pushing you, or you'll get the sound cue if they run through the gas. All right, so we got everything. This is an example kit I would most likely run. We have our armor. This is worn. Depending on what I'm doing, if I'm PvPing or going for a more relaxed run, I'd probably change that armor because composite and worn. What I mean by worn, just in case someone didn't catch on, let's go inside the body armor real quick. So we have new. So we saw that was 49 durability. This is new at 70. If we go to worn, that's 49. Boom, you just learned something. But we have 4 smokes, 2 nades, 4 liquid painkillers, 1 gas, 2 drinks, 1 regen. You never know when you need it. I promise you. You run out of meds or you need to keep moving and healing. Like say you hit a surge. Oh, I almost forgot my surges. That's crazy. Let me go ahead and throw a surge inside of my bag. That's not a fresh surge. That's okay though. But this is just for a demonstration. Again, we have our meds. We have 2 magazines. Again, you can take attachments off and take bags off. Put them in your smaller bags so they reduce your equipment value. And then this is just me personally. I like having a tapper on my back so I can, take out those enemies from longer ranges. And then you're probably wondering why I have a mag in my case. So essentially, I'd fill this mag up with good ammo. So say I run out of these 2 mags, or I see some super big juicers this is a mag full of good ammo. So in game, I would have to open my inventory and drag this over. And in some cases, you have to drag it to your bag first and then drag it over. And then you'll be ready, to take out those juicers. But if you die early, you won't be risking all of that good ammo because this ammo gets super expensive. Now, one thing I did forget to mention is stuns. Almost forgot. These are really, so you can add these to your gear if you want. I use them a lot. It really just they're really good for info. They're not good for anything but info. You can flush out campers, figure out where a team is at. So essentially, you throw a stun, and if there's anybody near it, they'll make a grunt sound, which essentially tells you, oh, they're in this room or they're in this corner, or you just know someone is over there. You might not know exactly where they're at. If you throw it really close to them, it'll slow down their sensitivity, and you'll be able to get an easy kill. But then again, like I said at the beginning, I'm a PvP player. If you're on a budget, feel free to change anything you want because I hate, like, one thing you have to remember, this game is beautiful because you can play how you want to play. Obviously, there's certain things you could take into account and okay, this is better than that, but you can play however you want. There's people that play way different, have more money than me. So I want you to remember that, but I'm giving you my best advice that I've been learning. But I hope you guys did learn something. Make sure to join my Discord if you have any more questions or drop them in the comments down below. If you haven't already, please leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next one.